All right, so on page 13, I'm going to go over number 20. There's a few in here. They look kind of like word problems, but really all they are asking you is what is it written as a decimal? So a 7/16 inch long bolt is used in a machine. What is this length written as a decimal? So what is this length written as a decimal? So we're just going to change that fraction to a decimal. I chose this problem for a reason because number one, it's a little bit longer, and then also, right, so we're going to set this up just like we did our other problems. So we're going to take, right, the numerator falls on the inside, 16 goes on the outside, our decimal, and some zeros if we need them. Like, oh, Miss Mills, that's a lot of zeros, and I agree. I already kind of know where this problem's going, so I'm just, if you don't know, what you can do is just add some zeros as you go along. Now, a lot of the other problems, the denominator is maybe a common number that you already know the multiplication facts of. So the reason I chose this one is because this is not common. So what are you going to do? You're like, oh, I don't know my 16s. Well, neither does Miss Mills. So it's not a big deal. What we do is we just think to ourselves, hey, right, what is 16? And then we're going to so that's 16, and we're just going to multiply it, right, times 1, and that is 16. Well, what about times 2? So all you have to do is just add 16 over and over and over again. So 16 plus 16 is 32, right? What about times 3? Well, we're just going to add 16 again. And if you know your 8s, that might help because 16 is 8 times 2. So you're just going to skip every other 8. So, right, 32, and that's going to be 48. And then times 4, that is 64. So again, we're adding 16 each time. Right, so times 5, if we add 16 to 64, that's going to be 80 times 6, right? 80 plus 16 is 96, right? Times 6, if we add 16 to that, so we can add 16, we can add the 10 first, so that's 106. Add the 6, so that's going to be 112, right? Times 7, right? So we add 16 again, so 16. Right, that's going to be 18, 128. And so you can kind of just see we can come up with those factors and make a little list of them. Now, I probably would have stopped maybe at 96. I know we need to go a little bit further. So this is actually times 6 here. So this is times 7. This is times 8. All right, so make a little list of them right here just so we can use them. So then we look at 16, right? 16 does not go into 7, right? And then we should also use our brain just a little bit. Think for a second. 7/16, right? Half of 16 is 8. So 8/16 would be 0.5, would be half. So this is a little bit less than half. So when we start looking at our answer over here, we should think, is this a little bit less than half? It's less than 1, so there should not be any number right here, right? It should be a 0. This is less than 1. All right, so then we think to ourselves, okay, so 16 times 1, no, 16 times 2, that's not enough. 16 times 3, 16 times 4 is close. 16 times 5 is 80, that's too much. So 16 times 4, right, is 64. So we're going to write that there. And that makes sense, right? So 0.4 is going to be a little bit less than half, right? So that's making sense. So then we're going to take 70 minus 64, and that is 6. And we're going to bring down a 0 right here, okay? And then we're going to see that 16 times 60. So 3 is what's going to go best in here, right? 3, that's 48. Let's subtract and see that this is 60 minus 48 is, so we can, if we need to, we can borrow, we can regroup, right? 10 minus 8 is 2, 5 minus 4 is 1. I like to think like 48, 2 more gets to 50, and then 10 more, so that's 12. Right, we're going to bring down our 0. Okay, so 120, so we can see that 7 would fit here. That's 112. We're going to subtract, that's 8. Bring down our 0, 80, and that's 5 that goes in evenly, 80, and then we are done. So that would be our answer for that. 7/16 is equal to 0.4375.